Hi, I'm Joshua Chora, pizza chef here in Geneva, Illinois. Last year, I came in top 4 pizza chefs. This year, I'm aiming for that #1 spot. It definitely opened my eyes to how vast our company is, to see all the talent, to meet new people was a great experience. Being brought out to California, just breathtaking. The company noticing my work and what I do here on a day-to-day is something huge for me, and that's what I come here to bring to the table for you guys, to show you guys what I'm capable of doing. First things first, when I start off my days, I always like to make sure if we get a shipment of dough, I want to always validate it. We always want to make sure we have at least 3 days worth of dough in the freezer. And part of validating is the outside exterior, is make sure that there was no damage done to the box. I also want to open it up and check for any abuse of temperature. Always want to check if there's any ice crystals that lets you know that the dough was mishandled, or if it was thawed and then frozen again. And at that point, it's really about quality. So at that point, we don't want to receive it and we don't want to use it in our restaurant. So if you see here, it doesn't look like that's the case. We have nice frozen dough, no ice crystals, no sign of thaw. So we will put this back in our freezer, and we'll make sure that we use proper FIFO procedures to rotate them in and out. And then next, as far as pulling goes, we want to make sure that we have 2 ready-to-go stacks, 1 for the morning shift and 1 for the night shift, using our P-Mix in Crust We Trust. Coming in the morning, you always want to make sure you temp your dough. And as far as using, we want to go at a 65 to 70 degrees for perfectly proof dough. And that's for ready to use for our thin crust, hand tossed, and our piadinas. Flatbreads also. So if we come and we check our dough here, we're going to find which is perfectly proof dough. When we come in and we find our dough to be 45 to 50, that's in our proofing stage. So at that point, we want to decide if we're going to use it for the shift or if we're going to store it in the cooler for later use. It takes approximately 2 to 3 hours to get to 65 to 70 from that point. And depending on flow of sales, depending on need. Also, you can see when rotating our dough, we have our labels. That lets us know which dough to use first according to the date. So this will be FIFO'd accordingly with any other dough that we might have from yesterday. And then when pulling your dough, you always really want to put in the time of year into consideration and finding the proper space to pull your dough. The weather from the outside does affect the proofing. So here we see we got the back right before the pizza station that blocks off our back exit and our front window, so it doesn't make it too hot or too cold, and it lets the dough proof evenly and it doesn't overproof on us as well. So after this is done, once we check the temperature, it's perfect, ready to go. We'll take it to the line and we'll start making some pizzas. After we remove our gluten-free cauliflower crust on our tin from our cooler in the bottom, we're going to bring it to the gluten-free station, make sure that everything is sanitized and we have everything ready to go. Here we're going to have our separate gluten-free, ready to go cutter, board, and spoon for each pizza. We're going to remove that from the bag, and using these we're going to make our gluten-free margarita pizza. To make our gluten-free margarita pizza, we're going to use ½ ounce of our extra virgin olive oil that's gluten-free also. Put it around the pizza. Using our spoon, spread that extra virgin olive oil all over the crust. We're going to go into our gluten-free drawer and remove our Neapolitan sauce, 3 ounces. Leaving this open, we're going to add our Neapolitan sauce, and using our spoon, evenly spread the sauce around. When it goes into the oven, all that's gonna kind of melt down and spread, so you'll get that 4 coverage that we're looking for. Okay, so after we do that, we're gonna put it in our gluten-free bin. We're gonna grab 4 ounces of our gluten-free mozzarella. And then we're gonna add a ½ cup of our shredded mozzarella cheese. You don't wanna really pack it in there, just loosely filled. Add it to our pizza. Even distribution, I always work outside and in, fill in the gaps. 2 tablespoons of our shredded Parmesan cheese. After that, we're gonna put it in the oven. Coming into our pizza station. First things first, what we want to do is wash our hands. Hot water for 20 seconds using soap. Really get in there. That's eliminating any cross-contamination or any bacteria that we might have gotten while we were outside or before coming to the station. Next, we're gonna make sure we check our dough again to make sure that it's at the proper temperature, 65 to 70 degrees. So after put that in there, 69.8. We're gonna write that down on our Epic dough tracker, and that lets us know that we have perfectly ready to use dough. Before handling anything on our station, we always want to make sure we sanitize our station with our red Sani buckets. And our sanitation, the solution should always be between 200 and 400, just to be on the safe side. And always clean off our makeup table before use. I'm always a firm believer that if you work in a mess, you're gonna produce a mess. And then after that, we're ready to make some pizza. So first things first, we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with our thin crust that we're gonna use for our spicy Milano. Grab your rolling pin and your dough. We already temped our dough, and we're gonna grab our 8-ounce dough. Grab it carefully, not to ruin the shape, keep it nice and round. It's gonna make your job 10 times easier. Dip it into our rice flour. We're gonna, using our templates, we're gonna flatten it out to 7 inches using our templates here. And we're gonna press it out to 1/2 inch in diameter. That's gonna give us a nice even roll when we're pressing it. Add some more flour to the top. And the flour is gonna help us glide the thin crust. Rolling pin. If you would like, you could always add flour to your rolling pin. Doesn't hurt. Starting in the middle, we're gonna apply medium pressure and using an up and down motion. And we're just gonna follow that until we get to our 13 inches. Rotate, continue the same motion. And we're looking for 13 inches. Really using that medium pressure. It's gonna give it a real even consistency and it's gonna maintain its shape. So if you can see, it's staying round, staying nice and even on all sides. And after we acquire our 13 inches, we're gonna grab our pizza peel and we're gonna par bake it. And like I said, we're looking for 13 inches. We always have a ruler handy, just in case. That way you can see 13 inches, ready to par bake. It's gonna go into the sweet spot of our oven for 15 seconds. 30 seconds, 15 seconds on each side. I got my timer ready to go. Into the sweet spot. Start my timer, par bake. 15 seconds, we're gonna flip it. An additional 15 seconds. After that, we're gonna bring it out of the oven, put it on our template, and we're gonna press it out. And then you can see that we have a perfectly made thin crust dough. We're gonna put these in our sheet pans, let them get down to room temperature, after which they will be ready to use. Next, I will demonstrate how to make a flatbread. Again, temping our dough, making sure that it's 65 to 70 degrees. We're gonna dip our 5-ounce dough into the rice flour, and we're gonna cut it evenly in half, after which we're gonna tuck in the ends, and we're gonna bring it out to 7 to 8 inches and 1/4 of an inch thick, and we're gonna have it to 2.5 to 3 inches in the width. After we do that, we're gonna add flour, make sure it's nice, even all the way around. Again, medium pressure. We're looking for 12 inches by 3.5 to 4. Again, using our ruler just to verify. We'll see that it's right there, 3.5 to 4 by 12. So now we're ready to par bake. 4 seconds. Make sure it's perfect. Before putting anything in the oven, we always want to give it that 4 seconds. In the oven, in the sweet spot, 30 seconds. Start our timer. Flip. After we reach those 30 seconds, bring it out. Again, we're gonna roll this out. And then after that, we should have a perfect flatbread. Again, we're gonna store these on our sheet pans so that they can get to room temperature, and after which they will be ready to use. Now while those cool down, we're gonna get started on our epic barbecue chicken pizza on our hand-tossed dough. Again, I can't stress this enough. 65 to 70 degrees. 70.9, perfect. Taking out of the tray nice and gently. We're gonna put it into our rice flour, maintaining its shape, covering both sides. Add a little bit of flour on our makeup table. And here we have all the ingredients we will need. An ounce of our smoky barbecue sauce, half an ounce of our smoked Gouda cheese, 1 ounce of our red onion rings, and 3 ounces of our barbecue chicken. All right, for our hand-tossed dough, really want to maintain that round shape. All right, press it out in the middle to get a nice even consistency. Okay, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the bottom of our knuckles, and we're gonna stretch it out to 13 inches. Flip, stretch again to 13 inches, and we're gonna toss it in the air no more than twice. And we should have an 11-inch hand-tossed crust. And we're gonna start topping this with our epic barbecue ingredients. 1 ounce of our smoky barbecue sauce. Using a spoon, we're gonna really get that to the edge of the crust. What happens is if you get it any cheese or any sauce on the rim, going into the oven, it's gonna turn black, or the cheese is gonna create eyelashes, and it's not gonna give it a real presentable look that you're looking for. Next, we're gonna add our half ounce of our smoked Gouda cheese, 1 cup of mozzarella cheese, 1 ounce of our red onion rings. Really bring these ingredients out. When it cooks, they're all gonna come to the center. So if you put them all in the middle, you're not gonna get that even distribution that we're looking for. And lastly, we're gonna add our 3 ounces of barbecue chicken. Another thing for our barbecue chicken pizza, you could put 8 slices of pineapple on your pizza, or 1.5 ounces of bacon. Wash our hands. Pizza peel. Again, 4 seconds. Give me my last overview. If I want to finish anything, check for eyelashes, check for sauce, check if my ingredients are evenly distributed. We can always grab our ruler to validate that it's 11 inches. Our rim, 1 inch, no sauce, no cheese. I think we're ready to go in the oven. We're gonna set it in the start zone of our oven. We're gonna let that baby cook. Here we have beautiful par-baked thin crust. We have 1 ounce spicy marinara, 4 ounces fresh mozzarella cheese, half an ounce of our shaved Romano cheese, 2.5 ounces of our fennel sausage, 10 slices of our spicy pepperoni, 1.5 ounces of our cremini mushrooms, 1.5 ounces of our sliced yellow onions, and 1 tablespoon of our serrano peppers. So to get started, we're gonna add 1 ounce of spicy marinara. Using a spoon, we're gonna go coast to coast on this one. And you really wanna make sure you get that coverage on the thin crust. If you don't, what happens is those spots that don't have any of our ingredients, it's gonna turn black. It's not gonna be, again, presentable, and it's not gonna taste very good. After we do that, 4 ounces of our fresh mozzarella cheese. Tear these into thirds. Next, we're gonna add 1/2 ounce of our shaved Romano, even distribution. 2.5 ounces fennel sausage, putting those all around, and get creative. But we always wanna hit those key points, even distribution, sauce to the edge, coast to coast, pepperoni, put them all around. Next, we're gonna add our mushrooms, onions. Remember, 1.5 ounces. Put those all over the place. Every bite, You get some of that heat from the sausage, from the spicy marinara, the pepperoni. Next, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of our serrano pepper. This is gonna give it the heat. And then to finish this pizza off, 1 tablespoon of grated Parmesan cheese. Clean off our hands. Pizza peel. Again, 4 seconds. I wanna make sure all my ingredients are exactly where I want them. My pizza looks exactly how I want it to look before. I think we're ready to go in the oven. Again, start zone. So a little bit about my oven. My oven has 5 zones. The start, finish, the start zone, my sweet spot being the hottest part of my oven, and my 2 finish zones. As you can see, my barbecue chicken pizza is in the finish zone. Give it about another minute and it'll be ready for cut and garnish. My spicy Milano is still in my start zone because we're still letting it cook a little bit. And then my temperature on my oven is hertz set to 500, and my actual oven temperature is always going to be between 525 and 550 degrees. While we're cooking our pizzas, our flame height should always be between 10 to 12 inches, and for holding, it's always going to be 8 inches. So after we got all that, I think my barbecue chicken pizza is ready to come out. First things first, when we're handling ready-to-eat food, always want to make sure we wear gloves. Here we're going to have our 6 steps of validation. First things first, size and shape. It's nice and round. When we look at it, our rim is nice, golden brown, 1 inch all the way around. The sauce, you can tell, is evenly distributed. Our ingredients are evenly distributed all the way to the edge. The bottom, when we check, color, nice and golden brown. 3-finger touch. If we really want to compare it, the color, I think that's perfect. And when we cut it, we're looking for that crunch. Ready? Hot food, hot plate. Again, just fits nice, beautifully on the plate. The epic barbecue chicken pizza. We're gonna top it off with 0.5 an ounce of our smoky barbecue sauce. We're gonna dollop that. And also we're gonna add half a tablespoon of chopped cilantro. Now that we finished that one off, I think our spicy Milano is ready also. 6 steps of validation are my size and shape where I want it, 13 inches. Our rim, we don't have a rim. Our color on the bottom is a nice brown. Does it stand up well? Are my premium ingredients evenly distributed? All around, I think it's a nice pizza. Again, we're gonna use our red pizza cutter for anything with meat. And we're really looking for that crunch. Hot food, hot plate. Beautifully on the plate. Gonna add half a tablespoon of our dried Greek oregano. We're gonna grind that up, distribute that. And there you have spicy Milano thin crust. Thanks to our pre-made gluten-free kits, lift and put it under the pizza, and you're gonna pull it just to eliminate any cross-contamination. Again, we're gonna take our pizza over here to the gluten-free station. And again, we're gonna cut into 6 even slices. That crunch is what we're always looking for. We're gonna add it to our plate. And to finish this off, we're gonna add our gluten-free picks to certify that it's gluten-free. And since it's a margarita pizza, we're gonna garnish with 22 to 24 pieces of chiffonade basil. After it's picked, garnished, and cut, we'll notify a manager and they'll take it to the table, ready to eat. Thank you for watching my video, guys, and I hope to see you at Pizza Chef.